Call this meeting to order. Roll call. Council at-large Boots.
Here.
At-large Spear.
Here.
Council Ward number 1 Leaper.
Here.
Ward number 2 Anderson.
Here.
And Ward number 3 McNeil.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda. There are no additions to the agenda. Is there a motion for approval? Boots with first, and McNeil with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear? Leaper?
Yes.
McNeil? Boots?
Yes.
All right, so to the communications, and we do have one scheduled communication, and it's Laura Twain. If you are ready, you can move to the podium.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me come visit again. We have, due to a measurement that we hoped would go better for us, we need to make the ramp a little bit longer than we needed to. We thought we would. And that runs into a headroom issue under my stairs that go up to the second floor. And so at least 36 inches of the ramp would need to come beyond the staircase, which would mean of the lease that we signed before, giving me 5 foot of alley property, in addition to the wall, 1 foot of my property, 5 foot of the alley property, I need another 8 inches to make my ramp wide enough from the city. Otherwise, everything would be the same as what we've done. The ramp will just come out a little farther.
Wait, wasn't it originally 1.5 feet, but now, is it now 8 inches? I thought it was adding 1.5 feet.
Going from the wall, I own the first 12 inches, and then the city granted me the 5 foot, 60 inches, and I need a total of 80 to get it done in this configuration. So 72, 12 plus the 60 from you. To get to 80, I need 8 inches farther than what you had granted me before.
And the travel portion of the ramp itself would be how wide?
Just right next to the stairs where it begins out by the road would be 36 inches. As soon as the headroom clearance allows, it will be a 4 foot ramp wide. So it'll be uniform on the side that runs against the alley, and there'll be a slight inset where the headroom would not permit you to walk under that stairs. So there'd be a 4 foot wide and then a finish out at 3 foot wide.
At the beginning, or at the most
Yeah,
west?
at the flat place where it hits the ground.
Are you sure that's enough?
It would make enough room for the ADA.
Okay. Well, 8 inches, jeepers.
My only concern would be, I've gone over and taken pictures and looked at the measurements again. I don't believe this would interfere at all with snow plowing this alley. I don't know if the city plows the alley or if the bank obviously has somebody come and do the parking spots. I don't know if they do the alley portion.
Steve? Do we plow the alley out there?
No, city policy has always been that we do not plow alleys. By the time we would get to the alleys, they need those alleys open before we can get to them. It's usually a day before we can even get to them, so they're done before we get there.
Okay.
And another 8 inches, you don't see any issue with the trucks that we drive through there, Steve?
Since we have that parking area on the north side of the bank, there's no real squeeze, so to speak, with big trucks going through there. The biggest truck that would go through there probably, like Tim and I were talking earlier, would be the waste management, to pick up dumpsters. And there should be
We would
okay.
have plenty of swing at that point to avoid that.
And we're just talking another 8 inches, I don't see that's a big problem.
Obviously, we'd have to redo the lease that was written, we'd have to redo the lease that was written.
Yeah, let me look into whether or not this is significant enough of a change to have it all start over. If it is, we'll set up the next agenda to do that. If it isn't, if it can be done some other way, some less formal way, then let me see if we can do that. I guess in a worst case, we'd be looking at starting over, with the public hearing and just to ask, these are some photos that you'd sent me before the last meeting. Just in relative terms, looking at the steps, how far to the south of the existing steps would the ramp come out?
37 inches, I'm sorry, 36 inches.
So like the bottom step on the stairway, it would come out 36 inches more?
South of that. But at that point, it would be level. But it's just that we need to end before those brackets
Yeah.
under the
Well,
staircase.
if it helps, I'm just gonna start down here and give the 2 photos I brought to the council, just so they can see what
Okay.
you sent to me. And they can pass it down if they want. But yeah, I can see from the attorney what our options are if the council is okay coming out that far.
So the guidance to give Brian, to check and see with the attorney, see if we can start the whole process over.
We should take that cement here out too? Or is this the 36 inches?
Does this slab have to come out
No, everything that is there now will stay.
here?
We will be,
So start on this side of that hole?
we will clean it up so that it's even there with this part. The railing will come out.
This railing?
Yes,
Okay.
and we'll put a brand new railing on.
That's 3 feet. From
This is?
Yeah.
here to here's 3 feet.
This is a better picture. This board that I have across the dirt end, the pavement, that is 3 foot from the staircase. That's my 80 inches.
Doesn't look like 3 feet.
It's not a good camera, but obviously there is some of the alley we have to re-concrete because the configuration of the concrete, you just couldn't pull up my stuff.
Right. And that's the banks.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, part of it, yeah, the bank's over here, so this is alley. But I will be replacing that cement as well as putting mine in.
I didn't touch it.
This, that gray board that's got the dirt and cement is like 3 inches. So it's not all of the space that I'm asking for.
It might be simple.
Even though I'll replace some of that.
With the attorney says.
Brian, is this something that we have to take a formal vote on, or is it something that we can authorize all the parties that are part of the lease to make the change pending, attorney approval, and then just initial, since it's only 8 inches?
Well, that's my question. see if we can get away with doing just that.
Do we have to wait till the next council meeting, or can we give authorization for that?
If you want to formulate a motion, I can give that to the attorney. But you're asking, instead of 5 feet, you're asking for 5 feet and 8 inches.
Correct.
I guess if we could do a motion, I would make a motion that we give approval to the parties to the lease to make the change if it's in agreement with the attorney and just initial it, and not have to bring it back to us.
So the motion is to change it if the attorney sees fit to be the 68 inches. Is that- And, so Boots with the first and Spear with the second?
Anderson,
Yeah.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much, and I just want to plug my brand new door that I got in the side of the wall now. The door, it's beautiful.
Sounds good, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Twin. All right, and so that was our one scheduled, so if there's anybody, now we'll move to the unscheduled portion, so if there's anybody who wants to address the council, you make your way to the podium, or, and then just state your name
Well,
and
I don't
address.
really need to go to the podium.
Okay. Well,
It's a question or problem with the alley on Fifth Street, where the galleries are.
okay,
The garbage cans, if they're left in the alley, get filled up within an hour or two, seems like. So I've been taking them around on the Fifth Street in time to avoid the, so I have to be there when the garbage truck comes, take them around and so on. The problem is, the garbage cans, there are only 4 of them, and I have 10 units that I'm paying for. And I've done this for some time. That didn't bother me at first, because if I ended up breaking even, I was happy. But I'm turning some of the property over to my children, and I think maybe we should make it a little bit fair. So I'm paying for 10, we're getting 4. And even the 4 then, like a week ago, I forgot to get it right away. And half of it was already taken up, somebody put it in there. Also, it attracts garbage. Some people come along, and I saw some kitty litter that they had deposited in the alley. Mattress boxes. So it's a real problem, and we need to do something about it. Of course, to make it fair, somehow or other, I need to, well, we don't have that much garbage, let me put it that way. Four bins would probably take care of all 10 of us. Now, as far as a solution, you might consider just forgetting about the charging me for the garbage, and I'll take care of it myself. Because I could empty the cans every couple of days and take them down to, I wouldn't take them down every couple of days to the transfer station, but at least once a month. It wouldn't cost me nearly as much. And it would get rid of the cans, with a problem of attracting the garbage in the alley. Another solution might be having garbage pick up on Fifth Street. Now, of course, there's always parked cars there, and that make it difficult for the garbage truck. I'm not sure how we do that. It's a real problem, and I'm not sure there's a good solution to it. So I would like for you to consider that, and perhaps put me on the agenda for next meeting.
okay. And just for the record, if you just state your name and,
Oh, Hugh
Yeah,
Stumble.
all right. Well, thank you very much, Hugh. We'll look into that.
Steve and I have discussed this also, so.
Okay.
It is a problem, and it's a situation where I don't know how we control that. We had a chance to visit today about a little bit. I temporarily, I think, we're gonna leave those cans on Fifth Street out in front of, instead of in the alley. When those cans are in the alley, they're fair game for everybody to dump into them or around them or on them, and it's just a mess there. And I sympathize with the situation that he's dealing with there. We need to find a solution, and I'm not exactly sure what that is yet.
And I'm concerned with how much it's costing me. And for what little service I gave.
Alright, yes.
Deb Boyman, 1118 Lynn Street. And I have a question about that insurance thing that we got in the mail.
Mhm.
I don't, sorry, Stu, I don't buy the paper very often. Since my dad passed away, I don't get to read it for free. And, so I don't know what's going on. But, okay, so if I buy this insurance and it breaks, I mean, do I own now to the curb?
You always have one to the curb.
No, because I'm not allowed to put a sign there. So I do not own to the curb. That is the city's property. That is not my property. So if I'm buying insurance, I need to know why I'm buying that insurance from my water meter to the curb or the street. And ours has, the street has gotten holes in it like 3 to 4 times now, big holes. And then we just had, Casey's just had their sewer problem, and the semis, I was out raking leaves, there were 20 semis went by within a half an hour on that street, that street is not capable to have that much weight on it, and they had just fixed the hole there within a month before that. And so what's that gonna do to my sewer lines? Because they've already, it broke in my yard twice, it broke in the street twice. So all this shifting around does not help. And then the holes in the alleys, am I responsible to fix those holes? Am I responsible to fix the hole at the end of the alley where there's a street that every time I drive out, it's a big pothole out there? I mean, what am I responsible for? What is my taxes paying for?
Which one do you want answered?
All of them.
Well, the first 8 feet of the yard is the city right of way.
So why do I want to buy insurance?
Because most cities provide the main in the street, but those same, most cities require the property owner to own the service line to the main, which
Okay.
is generally under the street.
I got that. And you know what happened? My sewer line broke. I had called someone to come fix it. Well, it was still broken in the street, so I had to wait for the city to come fix the street and pay those guys overtime to wait for that to get fixed. So where's your answer there?
Well, when
You
you
don't
just,
have one.
when you come in and just present what happened to you without giving us a chance to think about it, I don't know how to answer.
Well, you really shouldn't have to think about it. You're the council, you should know all these things. These things should be right there.
I should know exactly what happened to you.
You should be an engineer, you should be everything here. A city,
I'm not an engineer.
well then you need to get one here, because we need one really bad.
Let me just say something, I have a little background in that situation. Deb, I don't think you ever paid for any repair to the main, a sewer main.
I had to pay for overtime while Rodney waited for the city to come and fix it, because it was still broken in the street. Then it broke again. The water line, remember, broke, and it sunk clear in the ground.
Was it the
And
main,
then-
or was it your line?
It was our line that broke the first time, and the city broke. They were both broken. They were in so bad of shape. They both broke. So Rodney couldn't fix it until you guys fixed the one in the street, which I got to pay the overtime for.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, and it shouldn't have happened. That's
And then
not-
it did it again.
And was it the main that broke again?
It was the main, and then it didn't cost us because the meter was on the other side, so it cost the city all the water that was running and filled up our ground.
Now we're talking difference between water and sewer.
Well, it's whatever's in, the water line that goes is what I'm talking about. Oh, this has been,
2, 3, 4 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, and see, I'm just worried because the holes keep coming in our street. We keep getting holes. Cats can go in the holes, that's how deep they are. And it's right in front of my house. And so now we had all these semis going, so that's why I'm worried again. You know, what happened? What's gonna go on? But you want me to buy insurance.
No. No.
That's your choice.
Yeah,
No,
that's just
well,
your
I'm not
choice.
going to, because it's cheaper for me to just go have it fixed than to pay $14 a month to whatever. But what I'm saying is, if I'm gonna buy this insurance, shouldn't I own the whole thing? Shouldn't I be able to put a sign down there if I want? No. Do I own it?
I personally would not buy the insurance, that's my own personal opinion, because there are so many, pre-existing conditions that they don't know about. And then your sewer line breaks right after you buy the insurance, oh, that's pre-existing. The insurance company comes back and you'll have to pay for it.
Okay.
I will not do it, even though I used to sell insurance.
So what about the alley? Now, who owns the alley?
The city owns the alley, and we address those about twice a year. We go through them, we scarify them and add rock where we feel it's needed. Do we maintain them like we do the streets? Absolutely not. We don't have the personnel, the time.
Well, we used to get rock. We don't get any rock anymore. We haven't had rock for who knows how long. And then right at the end of the alley, there's a great big huge hole that I hit every time I drive out of it
On the north end,
on the south end. Where, close to Dave Fry's old house. So,
that's a seal coat street, and it's a bad area, you're right.
so what happened to our town? Seriously.
We've got about 90 streets in town, 90 blocks of streets that have been reconstructed in the last 15 years. We've got a plan and we're working on it. We've done streets this year. We've got a plan for next year as well.
I don't remember this when I was younger, ever. I remember them coming through and tarring the streets and watching them go by. I don't remember never having anything done now. I mean, it's just like nothing has ever been done. I've lived in that house since 1995, and I've never seen anyone resurface my street ever.
Okay. Thank you, Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
If anyone else would like to address the council? Seeing there are none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which these can be enacted with one motion, which is the approval of the city council minutes from November 19th, the development director's report from November of 2018, library minutes from October 30th, library director's report from November of 18, and the claims list. Is there any of these that need to be pulled out? Seeing there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Spear with the first and Leeper with the second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil, Boots.
Yes.
Alright, so now moving on to the one public hearing that we have tonight. It is a public hearing on the proposal to enter a sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement. Needs to be a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
Leeper with the first
Second?
and Boots with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil, Boots,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Alright, so now we are to the public hearing and
Yeah, up to the point of opening the hearing, we haven't received any input, one way or the other on this agreement. After the public hearing, a little bit later on your agenda, you have an item that's a resolution where you can approve entering into the disbursement agreement between the city and the state. That's with IFA, or the Iowa Finance Authority. This is a no-interest loan. It covers the design of the new wastewater treatment process that we're mandated to have operational by, I believe it's April, the end of April in 2021. That's pretty much, it can go up to $435,000 in expenses toward the engineering design. And then I should add, in the end, when we have permanent financing, this part of the loan gets rolled into that part of the loan, the more permanent loan.
alright. Any questions or comments about this? Seeing there are none, is there a motion to close that hearing? Boots is first and McNeil with the second.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Alright, so now moving on to old business, which is ordinance number 566. It is the final reading of amending chapter 99, the sewer service charges.
And again, this is because of the mandated wastewater treatment project. This would then be your final reading, and then it would be sent to the paper for publication. It would become effective on January 1st.
Alright. Any questions or comments from Brian? Is there a motion? Lieber with the first and Anderson with the second.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
Alright, so that does it to the old business, and now we'll move down to the new business, which the first one is discussion and possible action concerning the utility account for Yacht Ice Cream at 212 West South Street. Melissa?
Mr. Gott requested to be put on our agenda to speak about his utility account for his location at 12 West South Street. So I'll go ahead and let him come.
Mr. Gott?
Come to ask for some forbearance on our utility account. Last year, we picked up a distributor, it was supposed to bring us 500 stores, we got 51 stores, so that hurt. Then a year ago,
Could you speak up?
Yeah. then a year ago, I was told that my prostate cancer that wasn't supposed to bother me until I was 80 was bigger and growing faster, so I was scheduled for surgery in December. My surgeon hurt himself, and the surgery was put off until March, so that got inside my head, interfered with business. You know, we're a startup still, and so cash flow was always an issue, but then a cancer diagnosis on top of it, and then the surgery, which really set me back more than I thought it would, almost killed us. But we persevered, and we do have some good news. We did pick up an account out of Pennsylvania, an account out of North Carolina. So we're in about 18 states. We're just not in enough stores yet. I was contacted by an individual in the Quad Cities who finds deals for several wealthy families that he works with. So I think we can probably raise some capital through him. But in the meantime, I'm out of cash, and I would like some forbearance on my utility until we get a feed on this.
Do you have a suggested length of time for the council to consider?
60 days.
And then what would happen then at that point? You would be on a
Well,
payment plan, or you'd get current, or?
you know, the plan would be to get current, yes. We raise some capital and get out and knock on doors again and get sales increased, then yeah, we'd be getting current.
And then you have product,
Yeah, we have inventory.
yeah, and you wanna talk about that at all? What you have there that you're maintaining?
I haven't counted the inventory, but I would say we have probably $30,000 to $40,000 worth of ice cream and pints. So if we lose our utilities, we lose our freezer, we lose our inventory. If we lose our inventory, we don't have much to talk to anybody about, so. Brian and Melissa have been great. I mean, they've worked with us with our cash flow issues and everything else, but it's just crunch time, and I figured I should show up and talk to you myself.
Is this something the city's done in the past, is to allow an extension on bills? I mean, this isn't the precedent I want to set.
To my knowledge, I have not heard that.
I don't know of other cases, but in this case, we did try to work with Mr. Gott thing that I was looking at as the extenuating circumstance was the spoilage of the product. But we, upon the last attempt, said that any further attempts would have to come to the council. I thought that as staff, we took it as far as we should without bringing the council in.
How much would this cost us in the next 60 days?
Well, I've turned my cooler off, and we got about 1,400 this month plus payment plan.
And it was 17,
Yeah, that was included the payment plan,
right,
right?
your contract, which would still be included for
Right.
about 5,100.
Yeah, but, okay. It would be reduced because we turned the cooler off, because all we'd be running is the freezer, the lights and the furnace and stuff.
So how much would we be at?
If it's similar to what his last bill was, it'll be about 5,100.
In 60 days. And you're saying that that would all be taken care of in
Yeah.
60 days?
You mean, that wouldn't be the beginning of the payment plan, it would all be
Correct.
current?
So is there a way, I won't say automatic, but if Mr. Gott wasn't able to make that 60-day payment, then our guys would just automatically go and turn off? Is that what would happen next, the next step?
Yeah, I would say so. We'd probably issue whatever notices would then become effective on the 60th day.
How long has it been now?
Is due for disconnect the 29th. 29th. Last Thursday.
Any thoughts on this side?
I don't know that we're in the credit business, so, I mean, when you say it was due for cutoff, that meant it was 30 days past.
And then he is 12 days past his due date.
I would think that if there's no motion that comes out of this, that things would stay on the course they're on, and that the shut-off would occur fairly quickly. Have you had any luck finding another location?
No, that wouldn't be practical. I mean, we could, I did find a place in Chicago where I could do some storage if I had to, if that's what you're talking about, yeah.
Well, I guess what I was gonna say was if you had an alternative, then maybe a couple of whatever days to move it to that alternative, but if you don't, then,
So the issue, the real issue with that is that our distributor picks up at our location. They're out of, it's UNFI, they're a national company, but they have a warehouse in Iowa City. So for them to pick up out of Chicago is a whole different ball of wax, but it could be worked around, yeah. It would take some time, but it could be worked around.
If you're in, what'd you say, 18 states?
Yeah, but we're not in enough stores. We need about 1,000 stores to be profitable.
Yeah, but are you distributing product now?
Yeah. Yeah, we picked up Eagle out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We picked them up this summer, and we picked up Earth Fare out of Asheville, North Carolina.
But why not empty your cooler here? Get rid of your product.
But I have to make more inventory to fill more orders. And they only pick it up when they have orders, so they don't inventory it for you.
So, well, what I'm getting at is, you're not making any money to pay bills?
No, we're not profitable yet, no. We do have, like I said, I did an individual out of the Quad Cities that finds deals for several wealthy families. And so we're doing that, putting together a deal so he can raise some capital for us through them.
Is there any thoughts on any motions? Since you guys ultimately make the decision on this? So then if there's no motion to be made, like Brian said, just stays the course of action?
Good course.
Alright.
What do I have till the end of the week?
Mm,
How much time do I have to get stuff out?
Does anyone oppose to the end of the week?
No, I wouldn't think.
doesn't sound like it. Just two that doesn't want to propose to the end of the week.
No, I would propose that
Oh.
he have to tell the end of the
Sorry.
week to get out,
So there's a motion
to move it.
Thank you.
to allow us the end of the week to move the product out. And Anderson with the second?
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
No.
McNeil,
Yes.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, moving on to the second one, which is a resolution, taking additional action with respect to the sewer loan and disbursement agreement, securing the payment of $435,000 for the sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement. Brian?
This goes with your public hearing. It finalizes what we need to do to authorize this agreement for that short-term financing.
Alright. Is there, discussion or questions for Brian about this loan agreement? Is there a motion? McNeil with the first,
Second.
and Spear with the second?
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Alright, so number 3, which is a resolution approving submittal of an application for the state of Iowa catalyst grant for the Hardacre. Brian?
Yeah. As I understand it, for quite a while, there's been an effort to bring the Hardacre Theater back. And for some time, a volunteer nonprofit group had been trying to do that. Earlier this year, within the last few months anyway, the board of that time decided to resign and hand it over to a new board. So there's a new membership on the board, and they're making a new effort to try to restore the building. Now, the grant that we're talking about right now is for up to $100,000. The city does not own the Hardacre building. It is owned by a nonprofit. But this grant requires the city to be the applicant, or sort of the sponsor for this program. And also it looks for the city to assist, both in man hours and financially. So, as we'll see in the next item, the city set it up as a tax increment financing project, where if city funding is put into the project, it can be recovered this authorizes the city to participate in an application to the Community Catalyst Building Remediation Program, an attempt for a grant of $100,000. In the next item, there are some expenses related toward putting in the application. The state requires the role of an architect. That's the next item, but in this item, it's whether or not the city will participate as an applicant for this program.
All right, any questions on this Catalyst grant application? Is there a motion then?
I'll put that motion.
Anderson with the first,
Second.
and Lieber with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All right, then moving on to the next one, which is authorizing the use of a limited amount of DRIP funds for the Hardacre Theater project.
Yeah. I mentioned that we set this up as a tax increment financing project. We did it by amending our TIF plan, our urban renewal plan. The council did that at the meeting on November 19th. And again, it makes whatever funding the city puts into the project reimbursable through TIF. Well, as I mentioned on the previous item, in order to submit a grant, we need an architect to fill out what's called a Green Streets application. It's something that the state looks for in assurances that if the city is awarded the grant and uses it with the Hardacre's new board, that the building will be built, or that the building will be renovated, its exterior will be renovated in a certain way. And they have an emphasis on historic renovation, which had always been the plan anyway. So it isn't really anything that goes greatly out of the way of what was already planned. At least that appears to be the case. The initial amount of funding that the city needs in order to use the architect in a way that makes the grant viable is not to exceed $1,000. What I'm asking for is the ability to use up to that amount or amounts such as in the write-up I mentioned 5,000, so we can handle some preliminary expenses. But they would be expenses toward the building's renovation, not for operating expenses such as buying insurance or paying utilities. So if the project ends, for example, they don't get the grant, or we don't get the grant, and we can't find another way to go forward, then we don't incur more cost. But I guess I'm asking for some limited authority to try to get this project going. It's a little bit, the idea was based a little bit on what was done with the cemetery project and donated funds. The council gave a certain amount of authority to use those funds according to how the cemetery board saw fit. It's a little bit like that, but more limited than that.
All I can say is I think the Hardacre back in working order would be an asset to our city. Dean was just talking about going to a different town to see a movie. Why not us be able to go to the theater here to see it? I think it would be an asset to have in working order, again, in our city. It'd be a draw from other towns around that don't have it, and wouldn't have to drive out of town to go see the
Also, in the Catalyst grant that the application is for, it isn't to restore a movie theater by buying digital equipment or a screen or chairs or anything like that. The first goal of what we're looking at, what we're looking to assist with, is to secure what they refer to as the building's envelope. The exterior by tuck pointing, windows, roof repair. So, you know, even if someday it can't be a theater again, at least it's a building whose envelope is made feasible again. So if something else did go in there, it would have a decent building. And if the city, you know, we've kind of talked about this, if the city takes no role in this, then look ahead a few years and we're probably dealing with it as a much worse situation.
All right.
It needs repair, it's not gonna heal itself.
That's deprecated.
Is there a motion then to authorize this limited authority? Spear with the first and Leeper with the second?
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
All right, to the next one, which is discussion of possible action concerning the hydronic system repairs at the fire station. You guys want to? Yep. Mr. Bostron?
How we doing? John Foster, Fire Department. Our in-floor heat out in the apparatus bay, which is our main source of heat out there, pooped out on us. From what AAA pointed out, there's a lot of piping issues, a lot of black iron and galvanized piping used. It caused corrosion, which sludged up the system, burned up the motor. So the repairs that you have in front of you, phase one is to repair one of the two pumps, completely repair one and replace a bunch of seals that are bad on the other one. Two is to clean out the system, so they're gonna install a filter system to get all that sludge, to get the chemicals rebalanced that run through the tubes. So that is in there. And then phase three, which is the maintenance on the boilers, so going through making sure the igniters work right, everything's, the heat exchangers and all that stuff is up and running. And then four, according to them, that's to fix all the piping that is incorrect. There's a bunch of valves and stuff that are not in our system that they say need to be. And then to pipe in appropriate size tubing. I guess the tubing that's up there is a little undersized for the system we have.
I may have overlooked it, but did they have a specific timeline for each one of these phases that we should look at?
Phase 1 through 4 needs to be done.
Well, but I mean a specific timeline, like between now.
Phase 1 has to be done, 1, 2, 3, and 4 have to be done in order for the system to work properly.
Okay,
Otherwise, we'll be probably going through it again.
shaping the rabbits again.
Yeah.
How old is the system?
5 years.
And it was designed that way? It was spec'd that way?
I'm assuming everything was built to spec, yeah, by
So is that our
Full of
engineers
line.
doing that?
our architect and engineers, I would assume, yes.
Probably the same people that did the aquatic center.
You might not be wrong.
Oh, sorry.
It isn't, it isn't, but, I mean, that doesn't speak highly for them.
And this is the same company that put it in, that you're getting this quote?
No,
from?
this is a different company.
Okay.
This AAA services like Cedar Manor, Cedar Poly, they have contracts with all them. That's why I contacted them. So when they come and do Cedar Manor's yearly maintenance or whatever, it would cut down on our cost from them because they'd be in town.
So we're looking at continued problems because the same piping's up through all the floor.
The piping in the floor is all packed, so that's all plastic.
Oh, okay.
So everything is plastic from the boiler system upstairs down. And they looked at that and they said that that is all okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you gonna replace it with concave PVC then,
Everything will be brass,
brass?
brass.
Are there any other building systems that have had problems like this? That you know?
Not that I know
Gonna have a lot of polishing to do if it's brass.
That's Sean's city. Wow.
If there are no other questions, is there a motion?
I just think it's impossible. 5 years, it's
Gotta be done.
all along the last.
So Anderson made the motion to approve,
Gotta be done, second.
Leeper with the second.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes,
Leeper.
Yes.
Alright, there you go, thanks Sean.
thanks, Sean.
Alright, so now the next one, which is purchase of wire for stock for the electric department. Lloyd?
This is something that we normally keep around just for emergencies and stuff like that. So that if we have a problem with a cable somewhere, we like to have 3 reels of this around. Like, you have a problem with a feeder, you go out there, maybe not necessarily a feeder, but you go out there, maybe you have to replace all 3 phases, you have all the wire here, and I don't have to wait for it. Things like that. I recommended we buy it from Terry Duran, the Okanite, which, like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I went for a price of wire, they weren't the cheapest then, but it doesn't matter. But, I would recommend buying it from Terry Duran Company and buying the Okanite for $1.96 per foot.
Alright.
And that was the lowest price. Now the other one, the highest one, it's $2.42 per foot, but it's 250 feet longer, so it's about 20-some% higher per foot.
Alright, so any other questions for Floyd? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Leeper with the first, and McNeil with the second.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes,
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil.
Alright, thank you Floyd.
Thank you.
The next one, which is discussion of possible action concerning the proposed budget schedule for next fiscal year. Melissa?
Budget season is right around the corner, so I wanted to
Okay.
get a proposed schedule out. The meetings in January won't be any different than what our normal meetings consist of. We will have our regular meeting February 4th. The 6th will be when our first special meeting is, and that'll be just a work session, like we did last year with all the department heads, and we'll go over, the departments will present their budgets. That'll be at the same time, 5:30, if that works with everyone's schedule. The next change will be on February 20th. We'll move our meeting from the 18th, which is a holiday anyways, to the 20th of February. That's when we'll set the public hearing and the preliminary budget. And then I will publish the budget on the 27th. The next budget council meeting change, we will move from March 4th to March 11th. And that's when the public hearing will be, if all those dates work for everyone. And then I will certify the budget on the 15th. Seem to work with everyone else's schedule.
I'm not ready here for that last one.
oh wait, it might not work for me either.
The 11th.
Yeah,
Which one?
That one is just the
yeah, the 11th. The internet's so slow. No, that one should work. Yep, it'll work.
Double perfect.
Alright.
to
Oh, yeah.
adopt that.
The calendar. Is there a motion to approve this budget schedule? Lieber with the first and Spear with the second?
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
Alright, now to the last one of the evening, which is, discussion of possible action concerning a garbage exemption on 317 West 10th Street. Is there a,
I'm ready for that. Feasible.
yep, he meets all the criteria in our ordinance. So is that, first, Ross, alright, Ross with the first,
Second.
and Spear with the second?
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Alright, now down to the reports. Mayor's report, I don't have anything this week. Is there any council reports? Nope. Committee? City manager?
Just an update on the re-interview of the engineer for Highway 38. I gave them a list of 5 or 6 questions that I wanted them to be ready for in this re-interview. I wanted them to be ready to cover. And then I asked how much time they thought they would need. One of the things is I want them to draw a contract on where we're going from here to the end and then propose the pricing. And so I asked how much time they would need. They're asking if it would be okay to do their interview in early January, which, as far as I know, is okay. I have to admit, I don't remember who was on the interview committee from the council.
Tim and Leanne.
Oh, and you were an alternate.
Yeah.
A likely alternate.
Yep. I was in, yep.
Okay, I'll see if I can get a more specific date.
Alright. Thank you, Brian. Department heads? So there's none, and we're down to adjournment. So if there is a motion for adjournment. Boots with the first and Anderson with the second.
Lieber, McNeil, Boots, Anderson, Spear.
Yes.
Alright, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.